And we are live. Good morning, Crypto Warriors, and welcome back to the Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 1041. Today is Wednesday, December 28th, and I'm your host, Isaiah, aka Bitcoin Zay, here to bridge the gap between cryptocurrency and the community Monday through Friday at 10-ish. And today we have some great news stories, including the top story: Alameda wallets become active days after SBF bail. Community moles foul play. SBF wants a Big Short FTX movie, and Peter Schiff already calls it fiction. Mango Marcus exploiter arrested on fraud charges. Maybe it was illegal. And last but not least, Mark Cuban to Bill Maher: if you have gold, you're dumb as fuck. Just get Bitcoin. So those are our stories for today. But first, let's take a look at our prices. Not much movement. The market's been pretty dead as of late. If you are looking at the fiat price, a lot of big innovations have come, but not much movement as far as price. Bitcoin's at $16,765, down 0.1%. Ethereum at $1,206 is down 0.3%. Binance Coin at $244.90 is up 0.75%. XRP at 36 cents is down 1.5%. Dogecoin sitting at 7 cents is down 2.3% today. Cardano at 25 cents is down 2.2% today. And rounding out our top 10 is Polygon at 79 cents, down 1.78 cents on the day. And some of our trending coins include Polygon, down almost 2%. Terra Classic, which is somehow even allowed to still be alive, down 9.6%. And Shiba Inu. Some of the recently added coins for the DJs who want to dumpster dive: Dollar Moon, CZ Red, and New Year Ape. All right, so those are some of the coins if you want to look at some dumpster dive BGN coins if you want to go gambling in the shitcoin casino. So before we start, let's take a look at the chat today. Chemo and Crypto, Jake Fever, Chappie, Trey Francis, Satoshi Slim, Heavy Production, was good. Eric, Blockchain Bully, Justin Scott, Captain G 32, J Soul 85, TOP Cast, yo, was good. Everybody, make sure you take a second, hit that like button, hit that share button. Make sure you share it on all social media. If you want to join in on Discord, go ahead and hit that join button as well, so you can go ahead and get that out the way. And definitely have some great news for you today, because first things first, Alameda wallets become active days after SBF bail. Community moles foul play. This is pretty obvious at this point, that somebody is in the background, the puppeteers in the background, pulling the strings while Caroline snitching and SBF is sitting in jail and Gary Wang and all of them are getting indicted. Somebody's pulling the strings. They have either some backup developer or a hacker or somebody that's basically pulling these strings for them so they can keep moving money around. The recent movement of funds from Alameda wallets just days after Sam Bankman-Fried was released on bail raised many eyebrows about the timing. You don't say, in the middle of a trial. The crypto wallets associated with now bankrupt trading firm Alameda Research, the sister company of FTX, were seen transferring out funds just days after the former CEO Sam Bankman-Fried was released on $250 million bond. The transfer of funds from Alameda wallets raised community curiosity. But more than that, the way in which these funds were transferred grabbed the community's attention. Shout out to all the wallet watchers out there who literally, this is all they do all day. They set alerts. They watch wallets of different exchanges, of different whales, to see movement, just so they can basically see when some big things are coming. The Alameda wallet was found to be swapping bits of ERC20s for Ether. And then the ETH and USDT were funneled through instant exchangers and mixers. So you already know what was going on there. I mean, that's basically, a mixer is nothing but the same thing as money launderers. It's just a wash. But at the same time, in this instance, especially during the court case, this is very, very interesting timing. For example, a wallet address that starts with 0x6489 received over 600 ETH from wallets that belong to Alameda. Part of it was swapped to USDT, while the other part of the transaction was sent to Change Now. I think Change Now is a political group or a super PAC or something, an NGO, something, I don't know. But I'll check that out. On-chain analyst Zach XBT noted that the Alameda wallet was eventually swapping the funds for Bitcoin using decentralized exchanges such as Fixed Float and Change Now. Okay, so it's a decentralized exchange. All right. Change Now just sounds like one of those super PACs that they put together with one of those soft names. we're gonna change now. We're gonna, increase the amount of funding for the poor broke people. But because we know he used to always talk about being altruistic, but whatever. These platforms are often used by hackers and exploiters to hide their transaction routes. And Zach XBT is always on it. So even if they are, at least you can follow the trail until it gets cold. But they broke it down here. They see it funneled through instant exchangers. They see it'll be a swap for BTC. And the never-ending FTX saga sees a new twist every day. And the latest transfer of funds to scoop out whatever is left in those wallets is worrying for the community. You don't think. I mean, it's kind of like Pablo Escobar. When he died, people were like, he died broke, in a small apartment, and he was running away from the police. And he looked terrible. And I'm like, do you realize he buried hundreds of millions of dollars? They're still finding his money on the countryside of Colombia. I mean, this is exactly what they do. Whenever somebody has this much money, they don't lose it all. I mean, bankruptcy is nothing but a legal term. When in reality, they probably have crypto in different wallets everywhere. You don't know where all this money went. It could take years to untangle all of this. And even right now, in the middle of a trial, these wallet funds are moving. So it will be interesting to see if they can actually find where it goes, see who's getting it. And one user wrote that the former CEO was desperately trying to funnel money out, adding, why did his bail condition include no computer/internet access? So a lot of people asking questions. People are not stupid. They're starting to see the game here that, honestly, I don't even think nothing's going to happen. They're going to see the ETH moving. They probably mixed it, changed it over, switched it over in a DEX, and rolled it over to something else, washed it somehow, and it'll hit back so that they can make that money on the back end. People don't realize too, USDT, there are people that will accept USDT, but they don't know where it comes from. You just exchange it on an exchange, and they don't necessarily know where it comes from. So that trail could lead many places, and it is interesting that it's happening right in the middle of the trial. I mean, people, this is definitely going to be a case for the century, and because of that, one of the things that's going to happen is SBF wants Big Short FTX movie. Peter Schiff already calls it fiction. Oh man. So I definitely want to see this movie. The crypto community was not happy with the news that Big Short writer Michael Lewis met with the former FTX CEO. Why not? The crypto community is fickle sometimes. They like certain things, they don't like certain things. Sometimes want to be like, shut the fuck up. Who cares what you think? But at the same time, especially when it comes to stuff like this has to be a movie. I mean, when you throw in all of the fraud, you throw in all the sex of polycule, the Bahamas connection, the connection to politicians. We don't even know what all is going to be uncovered because the case is still going. So what if he gets off? That's a hell of a story. Or what if he, has to go to jail for 110 years, which I doubt. But either extreme, that would make for an even better movie. So I'm not blaming Michael Lewis. Big Short was an amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, it's one of the, in my opinion, top 5 movies Bitcoiners should watch when you talk about markets and how things are going to happen, because we're looking at 2008 right now. We're in the middle of 2008, if you all don't realize it, as far as a recession. Members of the crypto community published their sentiments on social media in response to SBF reportedly meeting with Michael Lewis, the writer of the popular trading-focused film, The Big Short. So in a tweet, a community member mentioned that this could be an attempt to cover for criminals and control the narrative through a book. Meanwhile, Bitcoin advocate Nick Carter suggested that Lewis also needs to be investigated, as the writer shadowed SBF for 6 months without detecting anything suspicious. Maybe he did detect something suspicious, but he's not a snitch. I mean, or again, he's writing a movie. He's not there watching him make trades and saying, well, where did that money come from? And trade. I mean, come on, man. Calm down. Again, like I said, it's very fickle sometimes. But one thing I do want people to realize is that if Michael Lewis is writing a movie about it and SBF knows he's there, he's probably not going to show him the intricacies of his company on the deep level. He probably show him surface level. Yeah, we just sent money to Alameda Research, who's our sister company. And he's probably just sitting there, just taking notes. He's looking at how they live, the altruistic vegan who sleeps on a beanbag. Of course, I'm sure that all that's going to be in the movie as well. And the sex part of it is just cherry on top, because again, like we've seen before, we've made enough jokes about it. Those Muppets were in there having a good old time. Oh man, it smelled like feet all in that. That would be, I wonder who has a harder job. Kanye West, public public manager, Vitalik Buterin's trainer, or the cleanup person for that condo, because that place stinks. I know it does. But Goldbug, Peter Schiff, also commented on the issue. According to Schiff, if Bankman-Fried is the source of the story, it will be a work of fiction. And he's not really wrong there. I mean, if somebody's writing a movie about me, I may embellish a few things, or maybe not even embellish on purpose, just kind of forget and just sort of say, yeah, and then we did something on this date, and it could be a few months off or whatever, who knows. The American stockbroker suggested that Lewis should piece together what truly happened by speaking to more reliable sources. Yeah, ask Caroline Ellison. She's singing like a bird, just sitting there when she's talking to the FBI. She'll tell you everything. I mean, she gave up on a whim. But some members are already comparing the film's content with other films. A member of the community thinks the movie might be another Wolf of Wall Street, but with gross, ugly people. Yeah, I keep telling you, man. I'm sorry, people have their purposes, but these motherfuckers are ugly as hell. It's just funny. Like I said, it's just a cherry on top that they were in this weird relationship. But while another said that it's only watchable if SBF will drop some names and they all go down. That ain't happening. He's not dropping Democrat or Republican politicians. He's not talking about the dark money that was moved around. That ain't happening. So you can forget that. Hollywood is definitely not putting that out. The only way that will come out is if this movie comes out independently at Sundance or something like that. And even then, whoever directed the movie will probably get a knock on the door. FBI, we need to talk. That'll come real soon if you start exposing the wrong people. Meanwhile, one Twitter user believes it doesn't have the same potential as The Big Short. They wrote, The Big Short was about someone predicting a market and holding strong. This movie would be about someone stealing all the money, having some orgies, then not being able to listen to all the lawyers advising him to shut up. I don't know if it's got epic potential. Oh, I doubt it. I think it does have epic potential. It's a different movie. It's not like The Big Short per se. I think it's more Wolf of Wall Street-ish, where it's cartoonish. He's hiring people, and the same way Leonardo DiCaprio was hitting himself in the head with the microphone and shit. I think that'll be something like SBF will be eating cucumbers, prophesying about the future of giving away billions of dollars while simultaneously going inside and stealing another billion. It'd be that type of thing. But I do want to show some people. This was a great post right here. Some people have already kind of started picking out the characters that may be in the movie. This is a pretty good one. I've seen a few, but this seems like the most accurate one. My man Jonah Hill playing, that would be absolutely hilarious. This is how I know this would be an amazing movie. If they had Jonah Hill in this movie as SBF. I don't know this other guy's name who plays Gary Wang, but perfect face. I think they're giving Caroline Ellison a little too much credit with this girl. She's a little bit cuter, and she can play the nerd role, but I think that would be giving her too much credit. And then, of course, the last guy here, I forget his name as well, but he's a comedian. Not Akash Singh. That's the other one. I can't remember right now, but I know he's friends with Kanye, or was. I think this is more accurate for Caroline Ellison right here, because she's got a beak on her, boy. So this would be more accurate if they put the Muppet as the fourth character, because this girl's a little too cute to play Caroline Ellison. This would be a lot more accurate right here. My guy with the beak that touches the bottom lip of his lip. Because I'm sorry, man, she is not the cutest, and I hate that SBF threw it all away for it too. Man, how can you be a billionaire and look yourself in the face? Man, people are weird. That's all I gotta say. But Aziz Ansari, that's his name. Thank you guys, Aziz. And the thing is, I used to watch Aziz Ansari, but he got quote unquote canceled or Me Too back in the day, and he's been gone for a long time. I don't know what happened to Aziz. I hope he's doing well. I hope he has some stand-ups out. He wasn't too bad. But yeah, let's take a look at some of our comments. Yeah, everybody, let's get the likes over 50%. 59 likes, 130 people watching. That is piss poor, people. Hit that like button, share it, and of course, join if you want to jump in and be a part of the Warriors live chat after the show on oh, sorry. And of course, let's see, Reno Gamble, serious question that needs to be answered, referring to FTX. How did Gensler miss the scam of FTX, but everyone else was privy to it without the access Gary has? Oh, he didn't miss it. His goddaughter is Caroline Ellison. He just ignored it. You know what they did? They started going after library tokens. They're still going after XRP right now. They basically made themselves busy, so they missed FTX. They met with them multiple times. They knew what was going on to an extent. And SBF even said himself, we're the obvious choice to be the gatekeeper of crypto, because they wanted to be the regulated exchange where Gary Gensler could basically say, yeah, the SEC, we approved FTX. If you want to have an exchange, you got to be just like them. And it blew up in their face because SBF was smelling himself a little too much. Let's see, Bergtown Music Group, that loft probably smelled like stale Fritos and leverage. Yeah, I know that place smelled crazy, but earring backs and hot dog water all in that shit. Reno Gamble, they should have Caroline's character played by a man. Caroline got that backwoods of West Virginia face. Yeah, she kind of reminds me of an old girl off Ozarks. You know, ugly, but cute to somebody. Everybody's cute to somebody. So what's her name? My favorite character, Ozarks, Ruth. Even Ruth looks better than her, honestly. Ruth was dope though. Let's see. Justice Scott, who would play SBF? Definitely Jonah Hill. Let's see. That kid Aziz is not funny. That's from Totally Slim. Yeah, I don't know if he's funny. Like, I think he's goofy. Like, you know, he just does stuff. But let's see. Caroline is Pat from old SNL skits. Oh man, showing your age there, Murray. Some people don't know who that is. Justice Scott just said the girl from Ozark should play Caroline. Yep, that's it. Reno Gamble. Put that in the movie, how SEC dropped the proverbial ball. Yeah, they got to do that. Like I said, I watched Silk Road the other day, and they talked about the government agent that got 6 years because he basically did illegal things to catch Ross Ulbricht. And then those illegal things got him in jail, but it got Ross, you know, life. So they'll do some stuff. They'll do some illegal stuff to get people thrown under the bus. But let's see, 5252, they were all working to write crypto history, beautifully orchestrated play. We just caught in real time. They planned before MIT. I think so too. I think it's going to come out that they discussed this. They probably convinced him to leave Jane Street. Him and Caroline is like, look, we started a crypto exchange. We can basically, this is what I think. Gary Gensler might have double crossed him and said, yeah, start an exchange. We'll help you out on the back end. We'll help you with all the stuff you need. But he was secretly doing his Mr. Burns in the background saying, well, actually, we can let them fail, and that'll be our excuse for regulation. So who knows? I don't know. I'm waiting for the whole story to come out. I don't know exactly. So Reno Gamble, he ain't Bill Burr funny. No, that's the thing. It ain't too many people that's Bill Burr funny. I mean, he's top 10 all time to me. So I don't think there's too many people. But yeah, Aziz is just kind of goofy at that point. Let's see. Let's jump into our next story here. Mango Markets exploiter arrested on fraud charges. Maybe it was illegal. So yes, the Mango Markets exploiter previously called his attack on the crypto exchange legal open market actions. And guys, this story is hilarious. You know, some people have different ideologies, but when that ideology runs into the face of the law, they don't give a shit. They don't care about your ideology and what you think and what might come. You know, the law is the law. The crypto trader behind the $110 million exploit of decentralized exchange, Mango Markets, has been arrested in Puerto Rico. You don't say. A lot of crypto people down in Puerto Rico and charged with market manipulation and fraud, according to a previously sealed complaint filed with the Southern District of New York and made public on December 27th. The FBI pinned Avraham Eisenberg with 1 count commodities fraud and 1 count of commodities manipulation in relation to his exploit of Mango Markets. On Twitter, I know him as Avi. That's what people called him on there when I followed him for a while. But Eisenberg, I'm sorry, Mango Markets worked by manipulating the value of the platform's native token, MNGO, artificially inflating its price relative to USD coin, which we keep telling you. If you're watching, we keep telling you over and over and over. We keep beating a dead horse. We backed up, drove over it again, and keep beating it some more, because you got to understand these exchanges are not your friend, and hackers are not your friends as well. The whole exchange is built to take your money, just like a casino. You're there, you might win. You could have a great night, but you're probably going to lose. They're there for you to take your money, keep you on there long enough to lose it. And Eisenberg and his team took out massive loans against this inflated collateral, which drained Mango's treasury of about $110 million worth of various cryptocurrencies. A day later, they entered negotiations for the return of the funds, and they confirmed that $67 million in various crypto assets was returned. So basically, he took $110 million. He's like, take $67 million back. I'm gonna take the other 43. Even exchange. You got your shit took. So at least I gave you half back. But he publicly fessed up to exploiting the crypto exchange. Man, the story of Icarus. He flew too close to the sun, got a little too big for his britches, as grandma used to say, stating that he was involved in a team that operated a highly profitable trading strategy, and said that he believed all his actions were legal open market actions. Wow. Again, your ideology means nothing to the FBI. The FBI in its recent complaint stated by Eisenberg constitute both fraud and market manipulation, as he willfully and knowingly engaged in a scheme involving the intentional and artificial manipulation of the price of perpetual futures on Mango markets. This ultimately allowed him to drain $110 million worth of cryptocurrencies, most which came from the deposits of other Mango markets investors. So he basically pulled people in with this quote unquote trading strategy. He already had money, so whatever he bet on, we would take it. Whether he won or lost, he always won. But Rax says that Eisenberg may have known his actions were illegal as well, as the day after the exploit, Eisenberg flew from the U.S. to Israel. So, you know, maybe a guilty conscience. He was like, yeah, let me get up out of here. Based on the timing of the flight, the travel appears to have been an effort to avoid apprehension by law enforcement in the immediate aftermath of the market manipulation scheme. He was arrested December 26th, the day after Christmas, in Puerto Rico, according to a filing by the U.S. Attorney, Southern District of New York. And I don't know who is in that spot, but every time I hear the U.S. Attorney, Southern District of New York, Paul Giamatti, whoever's Paul Giamatti, they're getting busy right now because they just had library, they're still doing XRP, they got the FTX token, now they're with Mango markets, and they said the FTT was a security. I'm telling you, people, they're going to get busy during this holiday season. And when they officially come back, when governments officially come back, usually Martin Luther King Day, somewhere around the 18th, 19th, usually when that happens, that's when they start to smack down. All the way through the first quarter, that's been the that's pretty much been the pattern we've seen over the past few years. Everything is about timing in this market. So let's take a look at our some of the comments we have here. Let's see. Bergtown Music Group set up his own goddaughter. Colonizers ain't shit. Hey man, it's a rough game out here, man. It's still the Wild West to an extent. You know, people tend to think that this market is way too regulated on one end, and the other people are like, well, it's not regulated enough. Trust me, it's still the Wild West to an extent. That's what happens with open source software. If anybody can spin it up, there's a new developer creating something every day. Let's see. Truth Beliefs, was that you in Silk Road with all the kicks, Zay? No, that wasn't me. But the thing is, there's a lot of, I know it was a lot of Black people that were in Bitcoin back then who were younger, but they looked at it as medium of exchange. It was like, I can buy drugs, I can buy clothes, I can buy, they didn't look at it as, you know, store of value, dollar cost average, all of those terms we throw around today, no keys, no cheese. Again, that took years of development to really understand what Bitcoin is. Like I've told people plenty of times, when I learned about Bitcoin in 2013, I wouldn't even talk to anybody about it until 2015. It took me 2 years to even be confident enough to say something out loud. My first IG post ever was like May 2015. And for some people, as soon as they hear about it, they run and tell the world. I understand it's like falling in love. You want to tell everybody and shout it from the rooftops, but you don't know what the fuck you're talking about until you go through at least one cycle and you see some of the bad things that happen. When everybody's making money, anybody can talk about it. Yeah, man, just buy this and buy that and your portfolio and blah, 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 blah. So let's see. TOP Cast, if they know illegal means were used to catch the Silk Road guy, I'm sure there's some constitutional violations in his case. Yes, that's what a lot of people are arguing, is that it was entrapment. If you watch the movie and you look at the case, I've read the case, it was entrapment. And he was supposedly ordered hits. He actually sent the text message that he wanted somebody dead, but the FBI agent faked the dude's death. He just took pictures of him and said, he's done, he's out of here, he's dead. He didn't actually die, didn't actually kill him, didn't actually do anything. He was extorting them to make him send him money through different accounts. He was saying, I'm hiring this hitman and I got this guy, and he was sending him money. He was just extorting them, but nobody ever actually got killed. And you know, that FBI agent, he did his 6 years. I think he's out now. I think 2021 was his last year. So, but his name is in the movie, but it's almost impossible to find on Google. Like they have no stories about him. They don't have any trail. They really don't want people to know about him. So let's see what else we got. Jake Fever, nobody eat mangoes no more. Yeah, exactly. Satoshi Slim, after completely beating it, we have Caroline, exactly. Bobo, who's in my top 10 comedians. Sheesh, man, man, that's hard to say right off the top, but I can tell you most of them. Let's see, definitely Chappelle, Patrice, Corey Holcomb, Bill Burr's in there, of course Pryor, of course Chris Rock. As far as stand-up wise, I like really dirty stand-up, so you know, like the dirtier the better. So some of the people I like, people don't really know who they are, but got to throw in there Tom Segura, who's recent. Love Doug Stanhope. Let's see. I mean, I say Chris Rock already. A lot of great stand-ups over the years. I can't remember everybody, but I love stand-up comedy almost pretty much as much as I love Bitcoin and basketball. Those three things right there. I used to in LA go 4 days a week before COVID. So let's see. Zaro Scarlett, whether he won or lost, he always won. Then I'm trying to get like that off of some stoic tower shit. Yeah, honestly, if you want to win in life, you got to play both sides. That's the only way to actually win. If you go all in on one side, you could either end up a huge winner or a huge loser. But the people who run the actual world, the few thousand people who basically run the billions of us, they play both sides. Every time you see a war, somebody's funding both sides. Anytime you see a conflict, somebody's funding both sides. Anytime you see infighting between countries where they destabilize it, read the book Confessions of Economic Hitman. Somebody's playing both sides. That's all you need to know. That's the only way to actually win in this world, because you don't know what's actually going to happen, and the truth is stranger than fiction. So let's see, who else? Robert Harris. Yep, Robert Harris is up there. He just died too soon. He didn't have a long enough career, but he was hilarious. Lavelle Crawford is funny. I don't know if he's all-time great, but he's definitely up there. Bernie Mac. Some people are so good, you just forget to say them because it's like obvious. Of course, Bernie Mac, all-time legend, Paul Mooney. Bernie Mac was a beast. As far as pure laughter, Bernie Mac, Corey Holcomb, those are the two that make me laugh the hardest, like literally cry laughter. The other people are slick, they're smarter, hilariously funny. I think Patrice O'Neal is the best radio host of all time. If he had a podcast, Joe Rogan wouldn't be shit. Patrice O'Neal was the best before it was a thing. This is like, I was listening to him in like 07, 08. So let's see, everybody commenting their favorite comedian. If people don't know, I actually did stand up for 5 years when I was in college. It was free beer and free girls. I liked doing it. I didn't love it. You got to put in a lot of work to be really good at stand up. And I won a few competitions, went on tour with a few comedians, but I wanted to make some money in my 20s and I didn't want to be broke for 15 years. It is fun though, because you could always go back. It's like golf. You're never too old to do stand up. So I might go back and do a little bit of it just because it's fun. Why not? And it's one of those things where people, when people talk about what's scarier, public speaking is scarier to adults than death. Public speaking is extremely hard to people, and I've done both types of public speaking, being a teacher as well as stand-up comedy. You got to stretch yourself, make yourself uncomfortable in life. That's when you'll get, if you want to talk about scared, talk about shit in your pants, go on stage and bomb. I remember I bombed a couple of times when I first started out. You'll see the type of person you really are. If you can laugh yourself through it and still have a good time, keep coming back, you got some gumption. But I've seen hundreds of comedians go, and I only did stand-up for like 5 years. But yeah, let's see. Mark Cuban to Bill Maher, our next story. If you have gold, you're dumb as fuck. Just get Bitcoin. And this is rich, coming from the same guy who said that he would rather have bananas than Bitcoin. Honestly, looking back on it, I don't think he really meant that. I think he was doing what other billionaires were doing, like Kevin O'Leary, or not billionaires, but just rich people. They were saying something in the public that would lower the price so they could buy more. It just seems like they were doing that on purpose. They're not that dumb. They're not dumb people. They knew what they were doing, and now they're coming out and then they're saying that you should just have Bitcoin. So the billionaire owner of the Dallas Mavericks confirmed in Cointelegraph that he practices what he preaches, stating he does not own any gold himself. I mean, okay. Arguments over whether gold or Bitcoin is a better store of value continue to occur across the cryptocurrency space and traditional investment circles. On the latest episode of Bill Maher's Club Random podcast, which aired on December 26th, billionaire owner of the Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban, advocated for Bitcoin being a better store of value than gold. In response to Maher openly admitting that he is rooting against Bitcoin, Bill Maher, I got a comment on Bill Maher. His stand-up it's okay. It's mediocre. I liked his movie Religulous back in the day, 2008, but he has become the exact person that he said he hated back in the day. Bill Maher has become that smug Hollywood elite who thinks he knows it all. He thought he was ahead of his time with the whole atheist era and his comments on stuff. I actually used to watch Real Time with Bill Maher, HBO. I used to steal HBO in college to watch it. Used to have respect for him, but it seems as though the people who are on the Democrat or left side, for some reason, they are the antithesis of Bitcoin. You know why? Because whenever you want a economy that promotes free market capitalism and Austrian economics, You cannot have government control and governments interfering with it. And he says that he's actively rooting against Bitcoin. What a nerd. Who roots against software? I mean, what the fuck? Imagine somebody saying, I'm rooting against email. I don't like email. We should be talking to each other in person. Like, sit the fuck down, old man yelling at cloud. Cuban chimed in with a cheeky agreement, remarking, I want Bitcoin to go down a lot further so I can buy some more. What'd I say? Cuban went on to offer some friendly chastisement to Mara, saying, if you have gold, you're dumb as fuck, before encouraging him to just get Bitcoin. And see, this is what I hate. These guys who are already famous, Mark Cuban's already a billionaire. He already has money. They go on these shows, they flip-flop from where they were, and then they try and basically tell someone like, oh, no, you should just have Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the way. It's the future. It's this, it's that. And, you know, honestly, Bill Maher could have came back and said, well, you didn't believe in Bitcoin at one point, so I can just not believe in it for a little bit and come back later. So the two then discussed the pros and cons of both asset categories, with the billionaire stating that gold is not a hedge against anything, while hammering home to Maher, you don't own the physical gold, do you? No, nobody does. We don't know where it's at. It's gold underneath cities. It's gold in like vaults overseas. If you try to exchange your gold in time of crisis, you are fucked. That gold is not showing up to your doorstep. If you hold it, you need to have it on you. And then even if you do, what exactly are you going to do with it? I mean, you can't really buy anything with it. So speaking of Cointelegraph, and you can't even really hold your wealth in it if everything collapses, because who's going to hold their wealth in something they can't actually use to get food with? Cuban confirmed he does indeed own more Bitcoin than gold, even going a step further to admit, yes, I don't own any gold. However, he personally chooses self-custody. He disagreed with the idea that people who do not hold their own coins or gold are necessarily asking for trouble. He says when it comes to safely storing assets of value, he said it depends on where. If the custody host lends out the gold or crypto for any reason, there's significantly more risk. If you don't self-custody, I will make sure it's a regulated entity that has required controls and liquidity minimum requirements. You mean like FTX? They followed all the laws. They had all the licenses and all the blah, 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 and it's gone. Celsius, gone. BlockFi, gone. Voyager, gone. 3 Years Capital, gone. Mark Cuban, this is what I'm saying. They keep bringing these guys on who have surface level knowledge, who can speak a little bit about it. Most people don't know self-custody, but that's the point of education. No keys, no cheese for a reason, because if you don't self-custody Bitcoin, you don't own Bitcoin. You still are trusting a third party, and the saying "don't trust, verify" is the main motto of Bitcoin. So if you're not there yet, as far as you don't want to self-custody, that's fine. But you have to understand there is risk involved with that. You don't actually own Bitcoin, you own an IOU. So I'm gonna hit up somebody. I'm gonna hit up my manager, see if I can get on Bill Maher's show, because so you can see maybe a different angle. Because when it's coming from a billionaire, they can kind of just play around with it and be like, well, it's coming from a billionaire. He can say whatever he wants. He can take a chance. If you lose it all, you're already rich. You already own the Mavericks. Speaking of, Luka Magic went off last night. 60, 21, and 10. Ridiculous. I mean, if you want to see what Larry Bird would be like in today's NBA, that's Luka right there. If you think Larry Bird wouldn't make it in this NBA, he's 2 inches taller and he's a better shooter than Luka. He would be doing the exact same thing. But yeah, the Mavericks, he already owns the Mavericks. He already has, his empire. So, they can kind of scoff at what he's saying. But if you get a regular, everyday person like myself who started out with $400, 22-year-old college student, all the way to now, a lot different story, and it could be a lot more convincing. Or get someone from one of the African countries, Kenya, Ethiopia, South Africa, Ghana, one of these countries where you're seeing development on Lightning, where you're seeing medium of exchange, Nigeria, where people are using it to survive, Venezuela, places with high inflation, El Salvador. Get some people like that where you can see the use case as far as human rights. I think people will start to see it more at that point. But if you just say it's an investment, it's better than gold, and you argue, gold is that argument's been dead. I mean, you can't even argue gold anymore. I mean, even gold bugs are like, yeah, I have some, but Bitcoin's way better. I've heard that a million times now. So that's where we're at now. Let's see some of the comments before we get out of here. Let's see. Reading Confessions of an Economic Hitman should be required reading. Exactly. I'm about to teach an after school at one of the high schools in my home city. I'm about to build a curriculum for them. And one of the books I'm going to put on the reading list for the grant to purchase is Confessions of an Economic Hitman, because they need to learn early that everything is not what it seems. And that is definitely going to be one of the books. Let's see. Social Slim Holcomb is bananas, honestly. Somebody said Cat Williams. Somebody said no Dave Chappelle. Oh, I said Chappelle first. I mean, Chappelle is I've seen him live 3 times. And I met him outside of the Improv. You know, it's funny, when I met him, the night that I went to the Improv, he was outside signing pictures, autographs. I dapped him up. Right beside him was Corey Holcomb. And then around the corner, when I walked around the corner to go smoke real quick, was Andre 3000. Andre 3000 was sitting there chilling in his jean suit with Brian Barber, or a jean jacket with Brian Barber, just standing there chilling, just kind of looking around. I just looked and I was like, "Oh, you know who you are, you fucking Andre 3000." Also, that was a crazy night. Don Magic Juan was there that night with one of the finest white women I've ever seen in my life, with the milk of magnesia walking around. That was one of those star-studded nights in LA. It happens, you know, all the time, but that was one of those nights. So shout out to Chappelle, killed it. Whatchcall was there. Donnell Rollins, I mean, name a comedian. It was D-Ray Davis's night, so of course he was there. Mr. B, George Carlin. Yep, Carlin is a legend. It's like some people you don't really have to name. Let's see. Carlin, to me, he was more of a, like near the end of his career, he was more of like, it was like a rally. It was less of a comedy show, and it was more, he was so smart. If you ever read his books, I have a few of his books. His books were so intricate. He wrote, I mean, he was an amazing writer, amazing speaker. He was more than a comedian to me. Let's see. We know Gamble Delirious was a shit, but everything else since lame. Oh yeah. I mean, he's just been doing movies. He's too big for stand-up, I think. Somebody said Bill Maher does comedy. Yeah, look it up. He had I'm Swiss was one. He had a few stand-ups. He's more of a smartass. Like, there's some people, a lot of the comedians today, especially ones that are kind of on the left, is what I'm starting to see. They're just smartasses. They're not really funny. They're just a smartass, and they just say certain stuff like, "Well, if I'm supposed to do it, well, then why didn't you tell me to do it?" Like, what? You'd be like, "All right, man, shut up. You're not really funny." But whatever. Everybody has their own opinion. Let's see. Somebody said, "I hate Microsoft Suite." What? DM Card, Jose Black Jesus was funny as a mofo. Let's see. Our project experience. Oh, hold on. This was somebody said, "Hey Zay, you familiar with the book Richest Man of Babylon?" Yes, very familiar with that book as well. That won't be on this list for this group, but I think I'm gonna come up with a reading list for all the warriors. Somebody already started a Bitcoin book club, but we might just start our own, just so people can have some of these books. Let's see. Let's see what else we got before we get up out of here. Somebody said D. Ray Davis. Yep. Carlin was a god. Baby J Crypto, not only does Tether freeze accounts, but they do it regularly at the request of the DOJ. Yeah, that's definitely a honeypot. Once you put all your information in there, anything that moves through there, it's just another bank in digital form. So not really that big of a deal at this point. We know, you know what you're up against. As long as you know your competition and you know what you're up against, you shouldn't be surprised. But shout out to everybody for tuning in today. Remember, jump on the Discord, be on there in about 15 minutes. If you want to discuss the live warrior chat, click join. It's only a couple bucks monthly. Make sure you can support the show, keep us running, and get us more employees so we can do more things. We got a lot of stuff coming at the beginning of the year. Definitely. Sergeant Crypto, one last comment. After reading Confessions of an Economic Hitman, I got out the Marine Corps. Oh man, tell me about. There's a lot of people I know that were in the service and they read that book and they literally were like, "I can't believe I did this. Like, I can't believe I was helping aid these people who have no name, no face. You don't really know them, but they give orders to do things to countries to destabilize them." If you want an example, there was what was the country that just had Brazil? I believe Brazil just had a quote unquote democratic election. They voted in somebody, and the votes were messed up. They were saying that a lot of the paper votes were doubled up, and they basically they pulled an economic hit. They destabilized the country, made the inflation bad enough. They tried to turn a coup on the current president and put in who they want. Same thing with Ukraine. They put the big U. They put in your boy Zelensky. They inserted him. Whenever they want to put a leader in there, who's the guy that just got elected in the UK? The cross-eyed Indian dude. Same thing. There's World Economic Forum, different banks, different investors. If they want somebody in power, they can destabilize you. And PSYOPs are real. They have thousands of pages of government. You can read it for yourself. It's online. These are not conspiracy theories anymore. These are literally books and documents that can describe it. So just make sure you don't need to stay woke, but you need to stay awake. And that is what a lot of people in our chat and a lot of crypto warriors are doing, because it all ties together. And Bitcoin makes a lot more sense when you have the why. You may know the what, you may know the who, you may know the where, you may know the how. But when you know the why you're in Bitcoin, why you want to use crypto, that's when it becomes a lot more apparent. So shout out to everybody who watched today. Great show as always. Make sure you jump on the Discord. Tonight, no coaching class tonight. Again, King, he had surgery on his mouth. He won't be able to do the class. However, we'll definitely make up for it over the next week. And he should be back either tomorrow or Friday for FBF. So shout out to everybody. Somebody say you trying to say Zablinski. Come on, say no. No, it's Zelensky. I know what it is, but we messed his name up on purpose because of the actual transcript. So it is what it is. But shout out to everybody. Have a great Wednesday. Happy hump day. And see you all tomorrow. Cheers, guys.